A warm welcome to Diplomatic Channel. I'm Amarachi Ubani. This week, Nigerians in South Africa willing to escape the impact of the anti-immigration protests in the country registered to be evacuated from South Africa, all thanks to the federal government's initiative of providing them flights to leave the country. I spoke with the official spokesperson of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Kimebi Imamotimi, on Sunday on the planned evacuation and what happens after. Later on in the program, we're commemorating the Republic of Italy's 80th anniversary with an interview with Consul General Ugo Boni. That's Diplomatic Channel in a wrap. Let's check in on other discussions in diplomatic circles. We'll be right back.
The Israeli Defense Forces have hit southern Beirut, its first attack on the Lebanese capital since a truce was brokered by the U.S. last week. At least 2 people were killed after 2 airstrikes hit 2 apartment buildings in a Hezbollah stronghold. 17 more people were injured. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said Israel struck terrorist headquarters in the Daeh district of Beirut in response to Hezbollah's firing at Israeli territory. Hezbollah is yet to comment on this. The election is unfolding against the backdrop of deep political polarization, with voters choosing between 2 sharply contrasting visions for the country's future. Keiko Fujimori of Fuerza Popular has campaigned on stability and continuity, while Roberto Sanchez of Juntos por el Perú has focused on social change and addressing inequality. Fujimori remains one of the most divisive figures in Peruvian politics, contesting a 4th presidential runoff. Her candidacy continues to generate both strong support and sustained criticism linked to the legacy of her father, former President Alberto Fujimori, as well as long-standing allegations of institutional influence and political polarization. The armed forces of the Democratic Republic of the Congo accused AFC, M23 and the Rwanda Defense Force on Saturday of continuing attacks on civilians and strategic infrastructure in eastern DRC, despite ongoing diplomatic efforts aimed at ending the armed conflict. According to the army, clashes and attacks continue in several areas of North Kivu and the highlands of South Kivu, where the RDF and armed groups are accused of targeting civilians, military positions and strategic infrastructure, causing deaths, displacement and material damage. The military also said operations against the Allied Democratic Forces ADF remain ongoing in North Kivu and Ituri provinces, where MAK claimed armed groups continue to carry out attacks against civilians despite sustained military pressure.
Demeurent pleinement mobilisés et poursuivent leur mission avec détermination.
Welcome back. Over 1,000 Nigerians have registered and are undergoing screening at the Nigerian High Commission in Pretoria and the consulate in Johannesburg to prepare to come back to Nigeria following the anti-immigration protests in South Africa. When I spoke to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs' official spokesperson, Kimebi Imamotimi, about the process of doing this and the plan for these Nigerians when they arrive back in the country. Joining us now is spokesperson for the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Kimebi Imamotimi. Thank you for joining us on the program today, Kimebi.
Thank you very much for having me.
And we're talking about, right, and we're talking about, these anti-migrant protests holding in South Africa and the violence that has ensued. What is the official response of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs to the protests and the violence after?
The Nigerian government is not happy at all with the deadline, and we activated different channels of interfacing with the South African authorities. We invited the South African Acting High Commissioner in Abuja for a meeting. We summoned for a meeting where we made the position of the Nigerian government clear to her. that we are not pleased with the molestation of Nigerians in South Africa. We are not pleased with insecurity faced by Nigerian nationals in South Africa. And again, the Honorable Minister of Foreign Affairs, Her Excellency Bianca Odumegwu, have had different phone conversations with our South African counterpart, where they've been discussing at the highest level on how to resolve this issue. More so, the President of South Africa have had phone conversation with our own President, His Excellency Bola Ahmed Tinubu, on this very issue too. The position of the Nigerian government is that we want the guarantee that the lives and property of Nigerians in South Africa will be safe. Nigerians will be safe in the streets of South Africa. Nigeria will be safe to conduct business in South Africa. The South Africans, on their own part, have stated that the government of South Africa is not in support of the protest. And we acknowledge that from the speeches from President of South Africa, their National Police Commissioner, and other highly placed persons in South Africa. But the concern of the Nigerian government is that, fine, government is saying they are not in support, but we are not seeing tangible action that is being meted out to those that are the ringleaders of the protest. For example, if there is looting going on, vandalization of business premises owned by foreign nationals, there are South African security operatives in the vicinity, and they are not doing anything to stop those vandalizations, as the case may be, then it will be as if government is complicit, that as if indirectly government is allowing the protests to fester on. So that has been the concern of the Nigerian government.
You had said in a recent interview over 1,000 Nigerians had already registered. There's screening for those Nigerians. What is the number as at now, and how soon will they be repatriated or evacuated?
There is over 1,000 Nigerians that have indicated interest to return back to the country. In fact, from our own projection, we are estimating from 2,000 to 4,000. But as we speak, the evacuation exercise was initially scheduled for Thursday to Saturday, but I just got confirmation from our mission in South Africa this afternoon that the exercise will be extended to Wednesday, that is the 10th of June. So the exercise will continue tomorrow, but there is confirmation again that over 500 Nigerian nationals have been screened and cleared to leave the country. So there are plans for Mr. President, in his magnanimity, have also approved 5 evacuation flights from South Africa that will be operated by Air Peace. So the first batch of 270 passengers is expected to leave South Africa tomorrow evening, if the mission will be able to liaise with South African authorities to secure necessary permit and clearance for the aircraft that will be deployed by Air Peace.
And what is the plan for these Nigerians who are leaving? What happens to the businesses they're leaving behind, to their activities, and then what is the plan for them when they arrive back here?
Our Consulate General in Johannesburg and also the High Commission in Pretoria activated precautionary measures so that Nigerian business will not fall victim to looting, vandalization, as the case may be. They give out periodic warnings whenever there is publicized information about the protest. So in that regard, they've not secured significant losses. But I think there are some persons, there are different categories of Nigerians that are coming back. There are this category whereby maybe a family that has been established there for a number of years, the father is not comfortable, children facing molestation, and as the case may be in the street or in the neighborhood, so he want the mother and the children to depart and come to Nigeria, and he will stay back to see what happens, as the case may be. Then there is also the population of those that don't have the rights, legal requirements to continuously stay in South Africa. Either their visas have expired, or they have deficiencies in one or two a legal requirement to enable them stay in South Africa. So that particular category of persons to have indicated interest to voluntarily return to the country to avoid running away from law enforcement. So I think there will be our missions will activate the mechanism whereby even if the business owner is leaving his business, as the case may be, there will be a form of identifying what Nigerians own and how they can take it up with South African government in terms of securing those business premises or business interests, as the case may be. Now, for evacuation, if it is a war situation, the normal standing practice is that there will be officials from Nigeria that will meet up of the Refugee Commission, Nigerian Immigration Service, Nigerian Security, that will even move to the departure point to be involved in the screening process. The idea is to avoid a situation whereby you don't bring people that are not even Nigerians to your country, because we witnessed that in other instances where when there is evacuation flight, every black Africa will claim to be a Nigerian. So we've had those instances before. So to avoid that, there will be thorough screening. But now our mission is doing the screening with relevant South African authorities, in the sense that the South African equivalent of the Foreign Affairs, which is called the Department of International Relations and Cooperation, in consortium with the South African Police, South African Immigration Service. Those are the groups that or the government agencies that are working hand in hand with our mission to do the screening. Now, when they arrived in Lagos, there is a camp operated by the Nigerian Refugee Commission. So definitely they will be there. They will be debriefed there. And I think there are plans on the way to make sure they have even starter packs and little tokens that will enable them move from Lagos to their respective states, as the case may be.
Yeah, so this is an immediate response, right? The evacuation of these Nigerians. But going forward, because Nigeria still has relations with South Africa, how is the government working with the South African authorities to prevent Nigerians being caught up in such situations as this?
The slogan or the cry of the South Africans that are carrying out these protests is that there are illegal, undocumented immigrants that are flooding their cities. So if it's an immigration issue, South African immigration and Nigerian immigration will have a platform to meet together quarterly and address issue of what are the concerns from the South African government, what are the concerns raised by the Nigerian side. So those meetings will help to address a lot of issues. So since the agreement, and again, in terms of security too, there will be a security committee made up of Nigerian security operative, then South African equivalents too, to address it. And again, if there are very sensitive issues that cannot wait for the quarterly meetings, there is provision for extraordinary meetings where important matters will be addressed. The idea is that when there is any developing issue, there will be someone that Nigerian authorities can easily contact to provide solutions in real time and not waiting for government-to-government reports, as the case may be. So that will help to solve a lot of hindrances or bureaucratic bottlenecks that maybe warrant or cause delay in official response between the operatives of the two governments. So we are anticipating a follow-up meeting soonest that the two sides will sit down to activate the early warning mechanism agreement that have been signed by the two countries. So if that is put in place, it will help to address a lot of issues.
Kimebi, thank you so much for speaking with us and answering, some of the questions that have bothered our minds regarding the situation of Nigerians in South Africa. Thank you again.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. God bless Nigeria.
Welcome back. The Italian Republic Day was June 2nd, with the main celebration taking place in Rome. Known officially as the Festa della Repubblica, it is one of the national symbols of Italy. This year marks the 80th anniversary of the Italian Republic, when it voted in a historic referendum to establish the Republic after World War II, a defining moment in the country's modern history. A while ago, I spoke with Consul General Ugo Boni, who incidentally will be ending his stay in Nigeria this year, about his time here and Nigeria-Italy relations. Consul General Ugo Boni, thank you for speaking with me. I think we've been trying to have this interview for about 3 years now, so I'm happy that it's finally happening. Thank you for speaking with me, and let's talk about your foray into diplomatic service, which happened after the compulsory national military service. Was it a personal choice for you, and what were you expecting to happen?
Yes, in fact, it was a personal choice, and even though when I was a young kid, I have never thought I would become a diplomat. But I had, when I was studying in the university, I had more or less in mind the kind of job that would suit me best. It was a kind of job where possibly you have to deal with several different issues, because I don't like to do the same thing over and over again. And also a kind of job that would bring me to live in different countries. So when, by chance, I attend a presentation of the diplomatic career in my university, I said, "Oh, that's the kind of job for me." So I did an internship in an embassy abroad, and I decided that yes, I wanted to try. So in Italy, there is only one way to get into diplomatic career. It's to pass a competitive exam that takes place every year. So I studied for the exam, and eventually I passed it. And in 2003, I started my journey as a diplomat.
And since you've been here in Nigeria, you have built relationships. I've also seen that, the Italian consulate and the embassy have done a lot. They're building relationships with individuals, with companies. Just the other day, you met with representatives of the International Women's Society. Just wondering if, that's a common feature here in the consulate, where you're receiving guests on a regular basis.
We are trying to do that now, because for several years when I arrived, we had the renovations going on in our premises, so we didn't have the space to do this kind of events. But now that we have it, I try to have at least once a month an event of this kind, to meet some part of the Nigerian society, be it business, be it culture. For instance, next month we have our National Day, that of course encompasses everything, but we will also have in a few weeks a concert of an Italian pianist here in the consulate. We will have an evening dedicated to Italian perfume. Okay, I will send you an invitation, of course. And so that's because sometimes perfume are more associated with France, but in fact, also in Italy, we have many maîtres parfumiers, so it's a very long tradition. So I think that 2 months ago we had an event about Italian design with actually 2 architects that came from Italy and had a presentation here in the consulate with the Association of Nigerian Design, because we always try to build bridges between Italy and Nigeria. And also I will not be here anymore because my mission ends this summer, but every year in November we have the week of the Italian cuisine. So we try to present all the different angles of the Italian culture, and also to integrate them into the Nigerian context.
In areas of diplomacy, I see that Italy, in 2023, you issued about 10,000 visas, if not more. What types of visas were they, at that time?
Well, for I think 80% is about for tourist and business, so short-term visa. And the rest is family reunion, because of course we have also a very big Nigerian community in Italy, 120,000. That's our estimate of Nigerian living in Italy. And yes, family reunion, student also. We have a huge demand of students because Italian universities are very well. The quality is very high, and at the same time they are extremely cheap compared to the UK and let alone the US. So that's and now every Italian university offers courses in English. So there is not language barrier for Nigerian students.
But how is Italy handling the issue of immigration? It's a big problem for many countries. I'm sure countries are shutting their borders against other countries. What is it like for Italy? What are the policies regarding immigration?
That's a very difficult question because I think that as a personal belief, I would be in favor of free movements, so that people could move as freely as possible. But of course, sometimes when there are no checks or no immigration, that creates a problem. Also because, for instance, the people that are now coming to Europe, many of them, first of all, there is no, they are not ready to be integrated. So they remain in the margin of societies. So I think that for sure immigration is a good thing. For sure we will need more immigrants in the future. But at the same time, I think that there must be strong regulation to decide who is needed and can contribute to the new society that they choose to live in, and who's just there's also a criminal aspect because some of them also, if they have no chance, then they turn into criminals. So yes, there must be some thorough check on immigration, but of course the message is that we need more immigrants for sure in Europe. And also in Italy now we have a government that decided to increase the quotas of immigrants. Even though it's a government that increased also the check on illegal immigrants. But I don't think that the two things contradict each other. So we want more good people and less bad people.
I think every country wants that.
Yes.
More good people, less bad people.
Yes.
How is Italy, handling the current global crisis resulting from the conflict in the Middle East, which is affecting every other country in the world?
Well, I think that, of course, I'm concerned, and also the Italian government is very concerned about the situation in the Middle East. It's not something that can be solved overnight. I think so. It will take some time. About the influence, the relations between Italy and Nigeria, I think that, of course, it can be also have a good effect, because in troubled times we need more friends. So let's put it like this. And Nigeria is also an oil-producing country, so of course it really can be an ideal partner also for Italy. I mean, Italian companies have been in Nigeria already for more than 60 years, for instance, in the energy sectors, and they are here to stay and maybe increase even their cooperation with Nigeria in the future.
What is Italy's relationship with Iran?
that's I think I cannot comment in 2 words what is our relations with Iran.
So in a few months, you wrap up your stay in Nigeria and you'll be heading back to Italy, before your next diplomatic assignment. Do you think you'll ever come back to Nigeria?
Yes, I think of course for sure I will go back maybe, but what I'm 100% sure is that I will miss Lagos a lot. So that's for sure. To go back for work, why not? It's always possible, but for sure I will go back as a tourist, and I will miss Nigeria a lot.
Consul General Ugo Boni, thank you again for speaking with me.
Thanks for having me, and it was a pleasure to chat with you and to present the job I did throughout this year in Lagos.
That's Diplomatic Channel this week. Thanks for watching. I'm Amarachi Ubani.